billion miles from Earth. That's such an incomprehensible number. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you, mainly because I can't quite comprehend it myself. It took NASA 9 years just to take a decent picture of Pluto, with the probe traveling 10 miles per second. I know what's going through your head right now. That's a really cool picture, and I'm sure those scientists were excited, but why do I care about a dwarf planet 4.67 billion miles away? Or more generalized, space at all? That's a good question. Why should you care? I'll tell you, because this is a really cool picture. No, I'm just kidding, but that is a cool picture. It's not the only reason you should care about space, though. In 1970, Dr. Ernst Stellinger was asked how he was okay with spending billions of dollars on space when children on Earth were starving. To answer that question, Dr. Stellinger wrote a reply with a story involved, and I'm going to tell you that story right now. It took place in the Renaissance era when a count was giving a lot of his wealth to his people. His people were starving and they were suffering from the plague. And when the count went down to visit, he noticed one man in particular who was working really hard during the day and later going to his lab to work on an invention of his. It was a tube-like structure that had pieces of glass on the end. It enhanced his vision so much that he could see things that he couldn't normally see with his own eye. The count was so interested in this invention that he took this man and told him that he could live with him in his palace, and he would even pay him for it. When the people found out, they were really angry because they thought that the count was wasting his money on this man when he could be putting it towards the people with the plague and the starvation. The count didn't really have a good explanation, but he knew that something would come of this invention. The count was right. This invention was the original microscope, and through medical discoveries, because of the microscope, the plague was found a cure for. Stellinger used this story as an analogy of what is happening in the world today. Every resource possible isn't going to the needy, but the $17.5 billion that's going to NASA, less than 1% of the federal budget, is not a waste. To prove this, let's explore some of the things NASA has already given us. The CAT scan, also known for medical discoveries, house insulation, solar panels, computer microchips, ear thermometers, invisible braces, light-emitting diodes, smoke detectors, water filters, landmine removals, and workout machines. Also, memory foam. I've personally slept on a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and I can tell you that I'm grateful. If none of these inventions did it for you, maybe knowing this will. Last year, for every dollar spent on NASA, there was a return of $7 to $14 in revenue. And finally, if not for the technology or the revenue, then simple curiosity. You look at the stars and the skies, and you wonder what's out there. NASA fulfills natural human curiosity. Since the beginning, there has been 178 missions. Just in the past week, we've learned that the dwarf planet, 4.67 billion miles away, has ice mountains as big as the Rockies with an atmospheric escape that mimics early Earth. Now, I can't promise that you're thinking this was the best speech you've ever heard, but I can hope that NASA is not just a discovery of the unknown, but helpful to the economy and an application of science in everyday life. So when you think, why $17.5 billion and why space? Well, that's why.